All the Egyptologists, whether it's Raymond O. Faulkner, Adolphe Ehrman, E.A. Wallace Budge, Sir Alan Gardner, James P. Allen, whoever is discussing the history of the hieroglyphics and the Egyptian language, discuss the hieratic, the Demotic, the Coptic. The hieroglyphics have been changed. In the Book of Mormon parlance, the Egyptian language they also changed. The natural evolution of a language. It made it simpler for them to record their thoughts on those metal plates. So they changed the Egyptian that they possessed, and Mormon called it Reformed Egyptian. This Book of Mormon Reformed Egyptian is not going to be found in Egypt. That is irrelevant. It was on the gold plates of the Nephites. But, make no mistake it, through diligent research and study, we have found hundreds and thousands of examples of actual reformed Egyptian. When we see how they formed these various characters of the Egyptian hieroglyphic, you can see, as the hieratic is formed, how they've changed. There's that line right there. How they've changed the shape. There's no question that hieratic is simply a reforming of the hieroglyphic. In this example, we can see the Egyptian hieroglyphic in this column. We can see the hieratic, how it changed the hieroglyphic. And now we come to the Semitic side and we see the Phoenician equivalent from the Egyptian hieroglyphic. And from the Phoenician comes the Greek. You can see the Greek letters are very close to the Romanized letters, and here are the Roman letters. Our English letters right now today. The English script that our critics are writing in, claiming that there is no Reformed Egyptian, can justifiably be said to be Reformed Egyptian themselves. Now there is the deepest of ironies. From the hieroglyphic, we have arrived through the evolution of the hieratic, the Phoenician, the Greek, into the Roman, and in our English script, which is legitimately Reformed Egyptian. Literally speaking, every single letter we use in our English language today originally was an Egyptian hieroglyph that has, through the course of time, in the Proto-Semitic visual alphabet and the Paleo-Semitic alphabet, and from the Phoenician, which went into the Hebrew and off into the modern Arabic, all from the Egyptian hieroglyphic, right down to our very own modern Latin letters, which are Reformed Egyptian. The Egyptian hieroglyphs here for a reed shelter or a house or a brick stone evolved through the Proto-Semitic, the Paleo-Semitic, down into the Hebrew, the modern Hebrew stacked for vet, as well as into the Latin B. Our letters C and G are a reformed Latinized version of the Egyptian hieroglyphics. It begins with a throw stick or a foot, then it changed in the Proto-Semitic, the Paleo-Semitic, down into the Gimel of the Hebrew, and into the G of Latin, which we still use, which is legitimately Reformed Egyptian. The very letters, script, that anti-Mormons scream against Reformed Egyptian are themselves Reformed Egyptian, and they don't even know it. On the Anthon transcript, these are letters that Joseph Smith personally copied himself off of the gold plates to give to Martin Harris to take to Charles Anthon. Every single one of these figures have been found in scripts in the Sinai Desert, or in Egypt anciently.
They exist. These aren't chicken scratchings. These aren't just make-believe doodles for Joseph Smith to try to impress somebody. Every single one of these characters has an example as a real script in the ancient world. Ariel Crowley, in his article on the Anthon transcript in the Improvement Era, February for 1942, showed parallels to every single character. Here we see the Egyptian idea of the chessboard. Here we have variant hieratic forms from the Book of the Dead in the top column, and the variant forms of the same characters are from the Anthon transcript. He shows in one side of the column the Anthon transcript character, and then he shows various Egyptian, various Proto-Sinaitic, various hieratic, and various Phoenician actual letters in these ancient language scripts. The matches are absolutely educational. The very name of God, El, has been found in the Sinaitic inscriptions in the Sinai Desert, but they come from the Egyptian hieroglyphs, even though they've been Semiticized into a Paleo-Hebrew. Hebrew itself could be legitimately called Reformed Egyptian. That the scripts we call English, the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, N, X, Y, Z. Now I've sang my ABCs, aren't you really proud of me's? All those letters come from the Egyptian hieroglyphs. Latin itself, what we call English letters, is Reformed Egyptian. So you critics, refute this. I challenge you. Prove to me Reformed Egyptian doesn't exist. But you better be careful if you're going to tell me and write to me in the English letters, because you'll be using Reformed Egyptian. That has got to be the deepest irony I have ever found against critics against Reformed Egyptian. You study the evolution of the scripts. You see if I'm pulling your leg. You study the history and evolution of the Egyptian hieroglyphs to the hieratic, to the Demotic, even on into the Coptic. It's all Reformed Egyptian script, from the Proto-Sinaitic deserts into the Egyptian sands, onto the Book of Mormon gold plates. We have evidence that every single character on that Anthon transcript is a real script. So welcome to the world of evidence destroying your argument, you critics. I've shown you, for the first time in my life, I'm actually comfortable in saying I have proven Reformed Egyptian exists. If you don't believe me, if you don't believe the evidence you're looking at, you now know where to go look and what to look for. You look up the Egyptologists, Alan Gardner, James P. Allen, Adolf Ehrman. You see what they say about the changes of the language of the Egyptians and their scripts. The Tanners called it deformed Egyptian in an effort to ridicule it. But they are correct. It is deformed Egyptian. The very words of the letters and the letters of the words of deformed Egyptian itself is deformed Egyptian. Ah, sweet, delicious irony. I love it. Refute the evidence. You've seen it. I've quoted you the sources. I've shown you the evidence. You prove it didn't exist. Because I really do believe I've proven quite powerfully that it does exist. Ball's in your court. Good luck. You are really going to need it.